The first Tesla taxi in New York City just hit the streets as the city's only electric yellow cab. The plan is for hundreds more to join it. Welcome back, dear friends. This is Armen Harayan from TorqueNews.com. If you are here for the first time, please subscribe to our channel for daily Tesla news and ring the bell so you don't miss my next Tesla story. Business Insider has nice coverage of the first Tesla Model 3 taxi cab, yellow cab taxi hitting New York City streets, saying 1 year after New York approved the Tesla Model 3 to enter its fleet of yellow cabs, the first one has hit the streets. A Model 3 with medallion number 8P86, the only electric taxi cab in the New York City, according to public records, just finished its first full weekend of service, completing more than 100 trips over the 2-day period. The electric vehicle is owned by Drive Sally, which operates a fleet of more than 1,000 cars that it leases out to cabbies and drivers for ride-hailing platforms in New York City and Chicago. Business Insider continues saying, last fall, New York's Taxi and Limousine Commission added the Model 3 to its list of roughly 40 approved vehicles, although the list includes several hybrids such as the Toyota Prius and RAV4 hybrids. The Tesla Model 3 is the only fully electric vehicle currently allowed to function as a yellow cab in the New York City. The Business Insider also continues saying that the Model 3 first hit the road on October 30th, and users on Twitter as well as electric car blog Electrek spotted it soon after. Drive Sally pulled it for a few days to make some adjustments, and as of Monday it has spent 4 days on the road with 2 different drivers at the wheel. The electric vehicle is still in somewhat of a trial phase. Adriel Gonzalez, Drive Sally's founder and COO, told Business Insiders, referring to the Tesla Model 3 being in the trial phase. In a little bit later, I will tell you why these things can be in a trial phase. And then he continues saying, each time a driver comes back from their shift, Gonzalez interviews them to see what feedback, if any, they can give on piloting the city's first electric yellow cab. One of the first problems they encountered was the passengers had trouble getting into the car using Tesla's unusual door handles, which sit flush to the side of the car, but Gonzalez says they'll address that by adding push here message. As is the case with most electric vehicles, range anxiety or the fear of draining the car's battery without a charging station nearby is also a concern. Typically, Gonzalez said, cabs operate on a 2-shift schedule with drivers swapping out every 12 hours, but Drive Sally is running its new Tesla Model 3 1 shift per day, allowing it time to charge the car at its garage overnight. In a little bit later, I'm going to tell you my other experience I had in Munich, Germany last year when I was visiting Germany at this time of the year, about an electric taxi company that we experienced in New York. But in the meantime, one driver at New York City couldn't handle the stress and brought the car back after depleting some 50 miles of the car's 220-mile range. Another had no problem draining the battery down to just 5 miles of range. Gonzalez said he bets that in the long run, taxi and rideshare drivers will be willing to pay a bit extra for a car that does not need to be fueled up, given that gas is one of drivers' top expenses. Gonzalez thinks that a Tesla taxi could help reinvigorate the city's yellow cab industry, which has taken a major hit from ride-hailing services like Uber, Via, and Lyft. He also predicts that the city could, for sustainability reasons, start mandating electric cabs, so he's looking to get ahead of the curve, even if the commercial charging infrastructure isn't quite there yet. Business Insider also says that Drive Sally plans to bring hundreds of Teslas to New York City streets in the near future, but for now, the company is still working out the kinks. Gonzalez suspects that the electric vehicles may be better suited for hired black cars than yellow cabs, and he also said that the more spacious Tesla Model Y would likely work better as a taxi, as a cab, than the Model 3, but they are still too expensive. New York isn't the first city where passengers can hail a battery-powered taxi. Madison-based Green Cab converted its entire fleet to Model 3s this year, and Columbus Yellow Cab in Ohio bought tens of them in 2019. Amsterdam has had Tesla taxi since at least 2014. Last year, when I visited to Germany in a trip inspired by German trade and investment, and they invited several journalists to Germany to see the German automotive industry. This was just about 2-3 weeks ago, before Tesla announced that it will be going to Berlin to build its Giga Berlin factory. By the way, today is 1 year anniversary. It was exactly 1 year ago that Tesla announced that it has chosen Berlin for its Giga Berlin, its first European Gigafactory. So when we were there in Berlin, we were looking at the electric mobility and so on, and then we came down all the way to Munich, and in Munich we saw this specific taxi cab company that was using solely Jaguar electric vehicles. It was only Jaguar electric vehicles. They gave us a ride, moving us from one part of the city to another. We spoke with the owner, and he was very happy with the results that they have been seeing so far, because this was a new company. And by the way, I have a video report on that in my YouTube channel, at Torque News YouTube channel. If you go 1 year back, you probably will see it. And we spoke with the cab drivers. They were very happy with the results. They said the public is really accepting and calling them very often, because the public feels that they are contributing to transition of sustainable energy and clean energy, and helping their environment. And in European countries, especially in Germany, they are very environmentally conscious. You can see the Greens party that was very active, asking lots of questions about Tesla's Giga Berlin, making sure the company was operating in an environmental mood. So we saw those taxi companies working in a very effective way. They were very happy. But I was looking today on Reddit, for example, and there are some questions. Some people are saying that, wait until you come to the first what does a taxi fleet like that take in Main Street? They can't do any work themselves, and then they're saying that as soon as they have repaired something, they're gonna regret their business decision once they get repairs. This and one person brings an example of Montreal electric taxi company Theo that went bankrupt, partly because many Teslas were stuck in a parking lot waiting to get fixed. The taxi maintenance team could not get any parts and were not allowed to repair the cars themselves. Monthly payments for parked taxis, not a good business case. Company was sold off and was just relaunched with only serviceable cars. All Teslas were sold. And I'm not saying that this is a bad decision. They're testing Model 3 right now, which is less expensive than Model Y in New York, and I hope they can succeed. I hope they can see the previews electric taxi companies that went bankrupt, what was the cause, and they can, with today's technology and better mileage and so on, they can provide solutions to that. I personally really like them to succeed, because this is going to clean the air in New York City and in our world overall. This is going to have good environmental impact, huge environmental impact, if all the taxi companies around the world slowly convert into electric vehicle format and keep the air clean in the streets. So please let me know, friends, what your thoughts are on this New York electric taxi that was reported by Business Insider. I just want to remind you the highlights again. New York's first Tesla Model 3 taxi, the only battery-powered yellow cab in the city, just hit the streets. The cab, operated by a company called Drive Sally, completed more than 100 trips in its first full weekend of service. Instead of running the taxi 24 hours per day like its other cars, Drive Sally brings the Model 3 in to charge it overnight. That's a kind of limitation, as you can see, and one of the first problems drivers reported was that passengers had trouble getting it and in and out of the vehicle due to Tesla's unusual door handles, and they're planning to address that with a sign saying push here. Well, friends, let me know what your thoughts are on this and how they can avoid the previous electric car taxi companies going bankrupt, and what would you recommend and suggest. In the meantime, this is Armen Harian from TorqueNews.com. Please subscribe to our channel for daily Tesla news and ring the notification bell so you don't miss my next Tesla story. Have a wonderful rest of the day. God bless you, everyone, and see you soon.